Welcome to the Ruby Hour, a podcast produced by our company, Ruby Riot Creatives. We specialize in video production and content marketing, and we're based in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm Shelby Ring.
And I'm Madeline Rager.
This podcast is devoted to interviewing extraordinary people doing extraordinary things and nuggets of wisdom that they've learned along their journey. Also, just want to give you a heads up, we have potty mouths and we're talking about inappropriate things. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in today for another session of the Ruby Hour, where we feature extraordinary people doing extraordinary things and dive into the journey of where they have been along the way and what got them to this moment. So I have the legendary Shannon Wooten of Palmetto Gun Dogs. Old friend. She has been someone that we have filmed and she has photographed. We've worked alongside one another. We have talked shop together. We've talked some smack. We've done some dumb stuff, done some cool stuff. Filmed some field trials, aka dog Olympics together. And we just like to force cuddle each other in our spare time and have a good time. So she's based out of Camden, South Carolina, and I dare say, I mean, I can't even start to tell you what I've learned from this woman and from the lessons that I've recognized in my own life from the way I have related with dogs in my life. So we're going to have an unusual but fascinating conversation around what are the parallels that you might not even realize you're doing with what you tolerate with your dog, other animals. Yeah, I'm pumped to have this conversation. Shannon, thank you so much for taking your time from your busy schedule to come and be sitting here with us in our office. Thank you for being here.
You are so welcome.
And so tell me, how the heck did you get into working with dogs?
Well, I bought my first Labrador in '93. Yeah. And so then
I was 2.5 for most of that year.
Okay, yeah. I gotta go now. I bought her and I had to figure out a way that I could train her because she was a really smart dog. Blockbuster had, like, I don't know, 3 videos. So I would rent them and then I would go back because, you know, you only had a certain amount of time in that era.
Oh my gosh.
The black and white TV era that you could rent. The video, so you'd have to go back in and recheck it out, but nobody else was after them, so it was just me. So I would go in, check them out.
They knew you on the reg, yeah.
Yep, and all I had under my Blockbuster account was dog training videos.
Really?
So that's where it all started.
Okay.
And then that was in '93. In '95, I met Alan.
Okay.
And I thought it was a good idea to take her duck hunting.
Okay.
Raining, probably 15 degrees. It was freezing.
Ugh.
So we load up the boat, take her. I shoot a bird. She jumps out of the boat, gets up to it, and turns around and comes back. I was devastated.
Didn't pick it up.
I was like, man, what the heck? Yeah. Didn't pick it up. So she'd never seen a duck. I'd only taken her dove hunting, never taken her duck hunting. And so she didn't know what it was and wouldn't pick it up. So then I just worked with her on land a little bit, and then she picked it up. And then I was like, you know what? There's got to be a way, like, you know, to teach them before you just get them out there.
Yeah.
You know, just because she doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
So then Alan's always trained. From the time he was probably 12, he's worked with, he worked with Bruce Jackson.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
Phenomenal dog trainer.
All right, OG dog trainer.
I mean, the man.
Okay.
But he worked with Bruce, and then he always had dogs. Like, he'd have his own personal dog or a friend's dog in for training, and then he would go, he's always gone on trips, Canada, Arkansas.
That man is always going somewhere fun.
What the heck?
Yeah.
And I mean, I get to come to Charleston, and I'm like, this is freaking vacation, man.
Yeah.
Should we go eat dinner after this?
Yep. Let's do it. Come on. Right down the road.
But then, you know, we got married, kids. Alan in 07 maybe went to train bomb dogs.
Okay.
So he was gone all during the week training in Virginia. And
what are bomb dogs for those of us that don't know what that is?
So the dogs that he trained were trained to pick up scent on IEDs and explosives.
Oh my gosh.
So it was pretty intense.
Oh my gosh.
So he trained them on actual odor. Wow. Yeah. And that's what he did. And then when that contract ended, he came home and he decided he was going to open up his own kennel. And I was like, absolutely, let's do it.
Okay.
So that's what we did.
How did I not know that Alan trained bomb dogs? That's like the most epic thing ever. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What? All right. And so then you guys opened up. Did you call it Palmetto Gun Dogs from the beginning, or it was just like?
Well, we tried to come up with a name, and then one day just going down the road, I was like, we could be Palmetto Gun Dogs.
Yeah.
And then it just was like, okay, that's it.
It's perfect. I love it.
And just went with it.
Okay. And so, like, for people that are like listening and, you know, maybe they have like household dogs or they're not big into the hunting scene, you know, my journey with it was like, you know, I did not grow up in the like hunting dog culture. You know, that was something that I was introduced to later on in my life from a previous relationship. And, you know, I just remember it was like culture shock where I wanted any dog I ever saw, I would be like, oh my gosh, hey, oh, how are you? Do you love me? Are we friends? Do you accept me? Like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing. Like, it was like all that energy. And I grew up with dogs like that. They jump on you, all this mess. And then I met, you know, the two dogs that I, you know, was close to and that, you know, I treated them as my own pups. And to go into recognizing like, oh, wait, like, it's not appropriate to, like, have a dog jump on a stranger the moment they meet them, or you, and being like, oh my gosh, yes, jump on me. And then we get mad at the dog when it jumps on our grandmother, but the dog doesn't know any different because we set that pace. And so getting into the hunting dog culture where these dogs are trained with a purpose, they have so much passion and they have an outlet. And I never knew any of that. I never knew the concept of giving a dog a job, a role where they can thrive. And so I remember one of the first time that I ever came and wanted to catch some time with you, I was like, oh, my dog, like, listen, he's like disrespectful. He does not respect women, like straight up. I mean, like, you might as well think he was like an ex-boyfriend or something. I'm like, listen, he doesn't respect women. He doesn't, like, he can walk with my partner at the time and he listens well, he heals, he's like doing all the commands, all the things he's, you know, quote, supposed to do. And then I get him, you know, on a leash and I'm trying to walk alongside him and he is getting in front of me, he's doing his own thing, he's disregarding me. And I remember bitching to you, being like, this dog, I mean, he is out of line and I can't do anything about it. And I remember you had me walk with Huck on the leash, and Huck is a very, disclaimer, Huck is a very pleasant, sweet dog. He's very nice, he's golden. And so we start walking and he's walking on my feet, he's getting in front of me, and you know, and you were like, what was some of the moments, like what were some things that you had asked me?
Well, first off, what dogs will teach you about yourself can be a little overwhelming.
It's like going to therapy.
It really
trying
is.
to work with you with a dog. It's like you got to come in. I felt very embarrassed at first because you were like calling me out on my shit.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, was I there at one point? Absolutely. You just weren't there to see me.
Yeah.
You know, but what a dog will teach you about yourself will make you step back, because it's kind of like we talked about. It goes in other areas of your life. If people are pushing you around and walking all over you, I mean, it's like, I mean, I can tell by the way your dog responds to you what your everyday life is like outside.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm just like, that poor girl get walks all over all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the jumping and just disrespect. You're not going to allow some crazy man to come up to you in a bar and jump on you and lick you in the face and knock you down.
I mean, how cute is he? No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
You're not going to do it because it's just respect.
Yeah.
It's space. Dogs have it and we have it.
Yeah.
And then we let them jump on us and come into our space, and we don't know how to correct it. We don't want to hurt their feelings, and we don't want to hurt them, and we're like, oh my God. And then I feel like some people are just like, they invite that dog into the space, and then they don't, it's like they want your approval that they like your dog. Does that make any sense?
Wait, say that again.
They want your approval that by liking your dog.
Okay.
So for me and my dogs, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
You follow me?
So if my friend has a dog and it's jumping on me.
Right, and you allow it. It's like you want her approval and you don't want to hurt the dog's feelings. And, you know, some people I feel like are doing it just so that people look at them and go, oh, how sweet.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't see that. Because if it's my dog, I honestly don't care if my dog ever looks at you. Because it's my dog. That dog is there solely for me.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you.
And it is. It's like, that's the thing. I mean, we have so many conversations around here around like the social media culture and like, oh, I'm doing it for the likes. I'm doing it for the external validation.
Right.
So it's like, you know, I remember at the Golden Nationals, we'd watch these dogs, like these owners with their putting the dog's paws over their shoulders, like they're like slow dancing with a person, and it was like they might as well be dating that dog, but they were getting their emotional needs met from this pup.
But that's a lot of it, you know, with the dogs. And people are like, oh, can I love them now? Can I love them now? And I'm like, make them earn it. Just make them earn it for 10 minutes. You know, because then I feel like they appreciate it a little bit more instead of you just fawning all over them. Because in their world, you know, you pay attention to your dog and you're sitting there petting it and licking it in the mouth for 10 minutes. And the dog's looking around like, the dog ain't that into you. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not that into you.
So it's like giving the dog respect and respecting yourself and your dog's space. And it's a totally different way of relating to, you know, it's like having boundaries, just like in any other relationship. And I remember when I, you know, brought my Golden in and I was walking with him and I was like, you know, look, he's getting in front of me, you know, he's doing all stuff. And you were like, keep walking in your line. Like, you know, you stay in your lane, Shelby. And, you know, if he gets in front of you, like, keep walking. And I remember being like, I might step on his paw. I can't do that. And you were like, he's resilient. He's going to figure it out very quickly. So you walk in your lane. And if he gets in the way, then like he's getting in the way. And I remember the reaction I had. It was like, if I step on his foot, I'm bad. And it was like, okay, the parallel, you know, you were like, who else do you let walk on in your life? You know, who else is walking on you? And I remember being like, oh, shoot, I do this everywhere. I was doing it with my clients. I was doing it, you know, in different friendships and relationships I had in my life of, you know, friends canceling on me or, you know, like I was constantly rescheduling, always feeling like I was having to give that 85% into a relationship. And then maybe, you know, a friend would like give me the time of day after I'm going on her schedule, her time, her whatever. And so it's like, I was like, oh my gosh, I do this everywhere. And it was shocking that I'm over there being like, oh yeah, this dog, like he's just, you know, he's out of line and I don't know, he just doesn't respect women. But it was like, no, I was enabling this pattern with him and I didn't even understand it. I didn't recognize it. And I mean, the mind-blowing thing that I've learned from working with you, and you know, I heard this one line, I think from a Tony Robbins documentary, and it was like, we get what we tolerate. And that understanding that has changed my life, of recognizing if I'm allowing a certain behavior, at some point I gave a green light. And if I feed into a certain pattern of relating, you know, if I am guilt tripped into something versus going, wait a second, that's yours. That's your whatever complex. I'm not embracing it. I'm not taking it on. That's not my circus, not my monkeys.
Right.
And if I don't play into it, it doesn't become a thing because I'm not tolerating it. And so when you're working with dogs, like what are some common things or like a practical thing of, why do we feel like we got to let our dogs, if my dog jumps on me and gets all hyped up, what am I making that mean?
There you go. You're becoming a doormat. You know what I mean? Because we want our dogs to be excited to see us. We also want our significant others to be excited to see us, but we don't let them jump all over us and knock us down. And you know what I mean? Yeah. They don't do it.
Yeah.
What happens with the dogs is they start jumping, and we're putting our hands on them, trying to either push them down, and then it becomes like a reward. There's a lot of energy that comes with us at this particular time. Our voices, our body language, the energy about us. Even though we want him to stop, he's just misreading the energy.
Yeah.
He's just like, when you put your hands on him and you're going stop, and so for him that like, in itself is a reward.
Connection.
That's a pet. Yeah. So it's just like you in a bar. Stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The energy is totally different because I can touch you like this.
Yeah.
And mean one thing.
Affectionately, yeah.
Or I can touch you in the same spot and never move my hand, and it means something totally different just that fast.
Yeah.
So if you can read my energy and you don't think that dog can read my energy, you've lost your mind.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about animals that can detect minute trace amounts of, narcotics, that can detect cancer, that can tell somebody they're going to have a seizure before they ever even have a seizure.
Yeah.
Like,
incredible energy readers. And we come in, I just think of, I've seen these parallels in my life where, I go home to my household, my childhood home, and I'm in my family dynamic, and we always had dogs that were vocal. I mean, it's like a train wreck every time you walk into the house. Like, the dog gets so frantic, and coming back after doing this work of recognizing these patterns and respecting how intelligent dogs truly are, the moment that we used to walk into my childhood home, we would be like, hey, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, what's happening? And the dog just woke up from a nap. Like, the dog's probably been resting, hanging out, in his energy and her energy. And then the people that they love come in, and they're doing all these high-pitched things, hands up, oh my gosh. We do. And the dog is playing into the very energy that we, jump into. And so it's like, if your dog is jumping on you, consider, what ways are you jumping on the dog first, energetically? What are the things that you're doing to hype them up? And I remember when you and I, we were going to the grocery store, and there was a dog like Birdie, a gentle, like, English Cocker Spaniel, very, like, calm, demeanored, and you were working with them, and, I was like, hey, oh my gosh, and I was doing that high-pitched thing, and you were like, don't talk to her like that right now, because that dog, each breed, that dog had a very sensitive nature, and she's very submissive, and that would get her too riled up, she needed a calm presence and to relax with her. And it's so funny that it's like, it's not about the dog. It's about me feeling like I have to express how much I'm excited about this dog with making my voice really high-pitched. Oh my God! Like, all that. Right. And it's like, that stresses the dog out on a certain level versus, like, I asked you one time, well, do you ever get hyped up about your dog and want to, like, get all high-pitched like that too? And you were like, I believe that my dogs can sense my love and my affection to them in, so many subtle ways. And I don't have to get all crazy. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, also with her kids, with her husband, like, you had, I feel like I've learned so much around love and just respecting myself and the people around me through the way that, you know, where I've been like, do you like your dogs? And you're like, I love them. And I have no doubt that they can pick up on the affection that I hold for them. But walk me through, like, for people that are like, wait, I don't know how to express affection to my dog if I'm not, like, letting them jump on me, roll around, like.
So, I mean, I'm not saying not to pet your dog and love your dog.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like, for me, I mean, my dogs work every day, you know, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
If I didn't train, because there was a time in my life that I didn't, my dog still worked. If that meant heel and sit, going on a walk, staying on the dog bed, on their place when I told them to, there was a job.
Yeah.
I think dogs feel it too. Every dog has a purpose. I mean, you know, there's a book out, and I mean that or those words alone are so strong, but they do have a purpose, and it's just a matter of finding what that purpose is.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to let I done lost my train of thought.
Yeah, but the boundary thing of, like, I think of if you had a roommate that you never enforced any kind of structure, you're like, yeah, man, like, eat my food, do whatever. But it's like, how much better do we feel when we have a clear understanding of how do we fit into this family dynamic, to this tribe dynamic, or, you know, a household dynamic.
But I just, you know, I like sitting on the couch. I'll call the dogs up. You know, I don't call them all up. I'll just call one of them up to lay down beside me, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't love the other ones.
Right.
It's just that, well, I mean, it's your turn.
Yeah.
You know, and nobody gets mad and nobody cries and storms off. They all just lay right there.
Yeah.
You know? So but that is all of that rubbing, because, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, I can rub ears on a Labrador and I'm like drooling and asleep, you know, like that.
Yeah.
But that's self-gratification.
Right.
That dog could care less.
Yeah, it's not for the dog. It's for you.
It's for me.
To feel comfort.
Right. So I feel like a lot of times people mistake the self-gratification for what they think is gratifying the dog. What's going to gratify the dog is taking it on a walk, teaching it obedience.
Yeah.
Because where I see dogs thrive is from being obedient, from having somebody say, it's just like a kid in school.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They do much better with the structure. Because if you let them loose, they become that chaotic energy.
Yeah. Because they're just seeking. They're just looking for how, you know, what to do now, what to do now. And
just
we
like a
feel,
dog.
just like our minds as well. How often do we get chaotic? I know if I don't have even structure in my day of, okay, what's the rest of my day? Or I can do anything. I mean, some people do well with this. But for myself, where, you know, I am a high energy person, it's like I'm spun out. I need a little bit of, all right, okay, how do I want to feel today? I need to create structure in deciding how to build out a day. If I have a free weekend day, or heaven forbid, a free Saturday, we're not filming or something.
Right.
So, and it's the same for dogs. And I feel like what you said, the petting the dog's ears, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is heaven to me. But the dog is like, that's nice, you know, cool.
Dog's asleep, doesn't care.
Yeah. How often I think we just so project like so much of ourselves onto the dog, and it's like, is that really the dog's truth? Is the dog like desperate for, like, you know, whatever it is, or do we feed this system of, you know, like, oh, my dog's neurotic, right? Like I've had conversations like this with you before. Oh, my dog is neurotic. He is jumping around, or he's knocking stuff off the windows the moment we leave the house. He's chaotic. And you were like, well, Shelby, maybe you're chaotic. What's your energy like? And I was in a very chaotic space in my life where I felt that anxiety in my own world of a little bit of abandonment happening, and, you know, freaking out around big picture stuff. And it's like, if you got dogs that can sniff out explosives and cancer and all these crazy things, why would that dog not pick up on a very real presence of anxiety and feeling very uncertain?
I'm not saying that they could diagnose it as that.
Sure.
But they know that something ain't right.
Yeah. Well, think of when you work at a job and your boss is wiling out, stressed about maybe something's happening financially or in another division. And, maybe when they talk to you face to face, they're like, hey, thanks so much. Everything's great. Thanks. And you can just sense like,
it ain't right.
And you get nervous because you're like, what's going to happen? I don't know. You pick up on the energy.
Yeah.
And, what do you think with dogs of... If someone has a dog where they want to work, just have a nice family dog that's, great with their kids, but they're not taking them out to go and retrieve ducks or do whatever. What are other practical ways too of getting to work on that bond of, because I think working with a dog is amazing. So what can that look like for someone that's living in the city?
Obedience, because you can do that anywhere. I mean, I look out here right now, and all I can see is like just the coolest agility course.
Yeah,
you've got these steps, you've got these, elevated street, whatever they are. Like there's so many things that you could do.
Yeah.
So I would find something, and every dog is going to be different. They're not all going to be the same. But I would figure out what his strengths are, and then I would be like, all right, let's develop that.
Yeah.
With you, I don't know if I would consider you a client, but you're definitely a friend, and you've been around me enough.
Yeah.
But what I have seen with you in the last, I don't know, 6 years?
Yeah, it's been
6 or 7 years?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you are so much more together now than you were 7 years ago. And did the dog training help? I don't know, probably.
I think it did.
But our rate for training dogs is a lot different than the counseling rate, which is $3.50 an hour.
Yeah, right. That's the coming in for Shannon's shrink
That
sessions.
is the shrink session.
Yes.
I don't know. I just see that you have just molded yourself and matured business wise, relationship wise. Of course, I don't feel like I was ever one of those friends that would call you up and then be like, postpone it. No, I'm pretty, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Get in the car, let's go to Ohio. Let's go wherever.
Yeah.
Look, there's a cornfield. Let's take your picture. Okay.
Get in there, Shelby. Drink some orange juice while you're at it. That's the way we like to leave voicemails. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
That's what we should just podcast, or the voicemail.
Just do the, remember when I made you the yoga for rednecks?
Oh, my God. The redneck yoga. You should
all right.
Definitely go.
Okay, so Shannon lives in the woods. That's all. That's the best.
Yeah.
She lives in the country, and so I was trying to get you into having more movement because you're on your feet 14 hours a day. I mean, just insane amounts. You literally get up, go out, feed the dogs, start working with dogs, start working with clients. I mean, your world, I don't know how you do it. So I was like, Shannon, you got to do more yoga. And I was freshly yoga certified, all this stuff. So I created a custom DVD. It wasn't a DVD. It was a YouTube link. It was a video link recording for you of essentially sun salutations A and B. And it was 25 minutes. But I did the whole thing with the worst Southern accent I could possibly try to pull off. And I was doing examples of, if your man is at home and you're not worried about it, that's the state of mind you need to be in. Don't think about Sheila at the barbershop. You need to be here and now. Breathe with me. Breathe in.
Can you link this to the podcast?
Oh, I'm not putting that up there. That was terrible. I wore camo leggings. I wore my camo.
It's got to be linked.
Hunting leggings.
And then they can get their dogs and do some yoga.
Nope. Maybe I'll pull a snippet. That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting. I watched that, and it's just my face instantly gets bee red. But that was my ridiculous, ludicrous attempt at getting you to do some damn stretches, Shannon.
I mean, but that, I've been stretching. I've been working on that.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I mean, the journey that you've been on. So how do you balance, you've had a journey in your business where, I mean, you have an interesting business model because it's you're not just giving people a product or whatever. People revere their pets, their dogs. That's a family member. And I know that for a while there's such a challenge of, people, the kennels are on your property. So people were rolling up like while you're having dinner and like all these times, and it was like, how do you turn work off? And I know so many people listening can relate with that, because, you know, being an entrepreneur or being, you know, having a business, whatever the model is, we have that struggle of like turning it off mentally, but you like physically have people like knock on the door. You used to. What was how did you maneuver?
Well, I mean, it's hard. You can't turn off a living, breathing anything. You can't turn it off. And, you know, when they're in my care, I'm always worried about them, making sure that, you know, if they're off, then I need to be the one to catch it. If something isn't right, if it's just an upset stomach, if it's an ear, you know, they got too much water in their ear, you know, I need to be able to catch every little thing. So for us to have a whole lot of downtime really isn't an option. You know, it's 7 days a week. It's 24/7. You know, we don't get a day off. We used to be open for anybody 7 days a week, and then I cut that out, you know, a couple years ago because I was like, I got to have a day. So we took Sunday, and I put a do not enter sign up in the driveway going towards the house. Because, you know, I'll have my dogs up or out and just be out messing with them, and I mean, they don't have any street smarts because we live in the middle of nowhere, so they don't know what cars are. But most people are very respectful of coming up to the house. You know, we do live out there, so it is our home and it is our business, which can be hard to separate.
I mean, I don't know how you do it. You're just like, you're a hardworking human with a lot of grit. Some shrimp and grits.
That sounds good.
I know.
Now that I'm in China.
All right, so what about, because we have, like, when I think of my relationship with you over the years, I consider you my special friend. Because we like, I don't know, I feel like you probably form really interesting relationships with people naturally, because you're working with their dogs, and you're like, you know, you're also calling people on their shit, I imagine, like, constantly. If people, because, like, you know, this statement I learned from you of, you know, working with a dog, it's like, you know, maybe 25% of it's the dog, and 75% of it is when the owner or the family gets their dog back, and teaching the owner how to relate with their family member, their pup, on a different level, in a different way. And it's really hard to break those habits.
You know, not everybody, but people want to put the cart before the horse. I mean, sorry, but you did.
Completely.
Know, and you can't do that. You cannot walk before you crawl, nor can you run before you walk. You know, just take it one step at a time. You know, training, I don't feel like, or I'd rather classify myself as a teacher than a trainer. Because I feel like if I don't put time on it. I don't say, okay, well, we're only going to work on this for 5 minutes, and if you can't get it on 5 minutes, then you're going to be failed out. Or we're going to move on to something else.
We're going to move on.
No, we're going to do it until you get it, because dogs learn from repetition and being consistent in what you're asking them. If you ask them to sit on Monday, and they do, and then on Tuesday they don't, and you just kind of go, well, he just didn't want to sit today. Well, guess what you're going to get on Wednesday and Thursday.
And Friday.
It's kind of like you telling your kid to do your homework. Do your homework. Don't make me tell you again, because if I tell you again, now there's going to be a consequence. Friday night, you wanted to do what? I don't think so. You know? Because I'm not, the more I tell you, I feel like if I keep telling a dog over and over and over to sit, sit, instead of just reaching down and pushing the hind end down, not aggressively, just push them down, to sit. If I keep on telling them, I feel like I'm dumbing them down. So now they don't have to think.
And what about being like, oh, She normally says this to me about 15 times before there's any real consequence. So I know she told me to sit, but like she didn't really mean it.
It's kind of like, it goes back to cleaning your room. You know, your mother says clean your room 45 times, and you don't do it because you're like, she doesn't really mean it. I'll do it later. Then your dad comes home, and the first thing he says is, did you clean your room? And it's like you almost break your leg running up the steps because you can't get there fast enough.
Yeah, I just heard a comic talking about that same thing. You know, your mom's like, come on now, do it, whatever. And then the dad comes home like, did you listen to your mother? And then you're like, oh, God, I'm done. I'm going to go do it.
Because you know with him, there's going to be a consequence.
Yeah.
In one way, shape, or form, whatever it is. Take something away, you know, smack you on the bottom. I don't know. There's going to be a consequence.
Yeah.
But if we let our dogs go through life without any consequence, guess who's calling the shots? It ain't you.
The dog.
Hello.
The dog. I know. And it's like, I just can't, you know, it's one of those things I feel like once you start understanding the dynamics at play of the way we enable certain behavior, because we are looking for self-gratification. It's not about the dog. It's I want to feel loved with my dog losing his shit the moment I open the door to my house because maybe the rest of my life sucks. Maybe my boyfriend doesn't text me back, and god damn it, I want my dog to give me the love my boyfriend is neglecting. And you know, and
you need a new boyfriend. You don't need that same one.
You need to get on that Tinder they're doing. No,
you know, farmersonly.com.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, this is the country episode of No, but it is so true, and you know, I've seen it in my own life, and you know, it's amazing. Like, I think of, all right, feeding dogs people food. That's another great thing of, oh, well, you know, the dog, he wants this. And it's like, I didn't realize that dogs didn't really give a shit about people food until someone introduces it. And that is a totally learned behavior somewhere. And, you know, when I was around those, you know, hunting dogs in that previous relationship, you know, for the longest time, you know, Hank, he doesn't even know what people food was. You know, he just, it's like that was none of his business. That was not part of his routine. He doesn't affiliate when we sit down to the table. Oh, better scoot in under the table. I need whatever's on that, whatever they're doing up there. I need it. And so just to learn and like, God bless my parents, but like I watch, like, you know, they feed the animals we've always had fat animals. And it ends up hurting them later on in life, where, you know, like hip dysplasia, and because they're carrying much more weight than they would have in you know, the wild or in their natural balance. And it's like, did they need that cereal milk? Totally calling you out, Dad. I love you. And do they need that milk and the extra cream and your like turkey lunch meat? Do they need all those things? Like, but it's like, but it makes him feel good.
Right.
And I used to,
self-gratification.
Yeah. And I used to come home and want to brawl with my family of like, you're not doing it right. You know, I love, God, that's been my whole life. I'm like, I just learned this new thing called raw foodism. You guys need to throw everything that's cooked the fuck out of here. And that, my parents are amazing because they've had to put up with me for however many years. But, you know, it's been a journey for me to recognize, all right, you know what? Like, choose my battles, and also, those are my parents' pets. That's none of my fucking business. And I don't need to come in and swoop in, you know, and I'm just thinking about this for people listening where they're like, well, I'm really working hard to work with my dog to be, you know, have his role in our family. And then if my mother-in-law or whoever comes into town and starts feeding scraps from the table, what do I do? But it's like, if
rent her a cottage.
Yeah, go get her the mother-in-law suite.
Airbnb.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, for me, the difference was to recognize I got to choose my battles with my family, and if they want to do that, if it truly gives them joy and purpose, really, for my parents, I'm not in their home. They are empty nesters, and you know what? If they need something to coddle, that's their decision. It's none of my freaking business, and you know, I gotta let go of that, because if you're trying to teach someone something they don't want to learn, they don't want to.
If they don't think it's broke, then there's no need to fix it.
Yeah. And being okay with, you know what, I could get into, I don't think that that's right, of putting that extra weight and the strain on that dog's body. That's not appropriate, whatever. But it's like, I don't got a dog in that fight. No fucking pun intended. No, it's like,
save your energy.
Yeah.
You know, save your breath for when something will really matter.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you say, and you can say it till you blue in the face, and the only person that's getting a rise out of it is you.
Yeah. And the only person that's getting their panties in a twist is you as well. Mm-hmm. So if you want a wedgie, and if you want to get hot-blooded and get all worked up over nothing, start trying to reprimand other people on how they like to work with their dogs.
That's one thing I learned a long time ago, was just keep your mouth shut about a man's dog. You know? Just don't say anything. Yeah. Unless you ask me.
Yeah.
I will never say a word.
Yeah.
I won't do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, kind of like you said, it's not my fight.
Yeah, it's so much more about respecting the dog and their behaviors and their seeing them for who they are, and being of service to their identity rather than forcing them into
something. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like taking a Chihuahua and saying that you're going to make a retriever out of it. I'm like, come on, people. You know,
but why couldn't a dog, like, what? Help me understand the difference in breeds, and, you know, for people, because it's like, well, why couldn't a Chihuahua be a retriever?
I'm not saying they couldn't.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work. You know, it's going to be a lot of work, because there's no instinct there. You know? Okay. So you gotta, like, for me, like, not every dog is going to be cut out to be a hunting dog. It doesn't happen. I mean,
even if they're a lab?
Right. Some are going to fail out.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm like, as a teacher, I feel like it is my job to figure out what it is that dog can do well. And then let's say, all right, this is where we need to go. Because I feel like any dog can be obedient. Any dog can be obedient. My level of obedience and my expectations are probably higher than just the average person.
Yeah.
But I do put very high expectations on my dog. But I also put the time in that I should.
Yeah.
So, you know, do I start from the day they come home just drilling and teaching it? No. I mean, a puppy's only a puppy once.
Yeah.
But they do have to have manners. They do have to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, please, and thank you. You know, I mean, that's just a rule.
What's a practical example of a puppy starting to learn, like having a role? So,
I mean, most puppies' treat training is, oh my God, like the easiest way to go. But I just get really tiny treats, soft treats. I don't get crunchy treats, because I feel like by the time they get done crunching it, they forgot what they were doing anyway.
Yeah.
You know, they got like ADD.
Yeah. They're puppies.
Yes, they are puppies. So all of my training sessions are short and sweet. Like, I'll just take the bowl and I'll hold it above their head and I'll say sit. And then I just wait for them to sit, and then I'll put the food down. You know, so it's just a little bit at a time. You know, I don't throw it all on them at once. I mean, formal training, I don't really start until probably 8 or 9 months old.
Okay.
And some people start earlier. I mean, I feel like they retain more when they're older. I feel like they're more ready to learn.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, how much can you really teach a room full of kindergartners every day? Yeah. You know? I mean, how much? And that's why we have nap time, and that's why we have play time, because you can't just drill them like that. Yeah. You just can't do it. Yeah. They're babies.
Yeah. And you have to support their capacity, because when you do the sit with the food and that, how old are they at that point to introduce something as simple as that?
So if I have a litter, I start then. Okay. So when they're 7 weeks old, 8 weeks old, I walk in with the food bowl and they just all sit.
It's awesome to watch, by the way.
And then I just, because they, I don't want them jumping on me. Right. I don't want them knocking me down. They just have to be patient. And then I'll stand there. Sometimes I might count to 3. I might count to 10. I'm not 1,000. I'm just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'll put it down. Mm-hmm. But I feel like at that point they're learning to say please. Mm-hmm. I mean, like they're learning boundaries, and they're learning that there are certain things that we have to do to get things. So they're working for it and don't even know they're working for it. You know, like with a puppy, it's just play. It is play, but there's structure to that play. It's like teaching a kid how to play soccer. You don't just cut them loose on a field with a soccer ball and say, kick it.
Yeah.
You're learning. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You know, you're learning how to kick the ball. But if you're going to learn how to play the game, there's a little bit more structure to it. Now we have other teammates and coaches, and we actually have nets on each end. We have soccer goals. We've got lines on the, so you just change the dynamics. And the older they get with that game, the better they get. You know, you don't have to tell them to go kick it in the other end because they know where they're going.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's getting that support. But now, they're just puppies, and if they start jumping on you and they're 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, they're cute and they're only like 20 pounds. Why does it matter if they're jumping on you?
Because they're going to get a lot bigger. Nails get a lot bigger, a lot sharper. So I don't allow it from Jump Street. I just don't want anybody jumping on me. I don't want Alan jumping on me. I don't want, you know what I mean?
Alan's like 220 pounds. He's a very large man. Yes.
I mean, don't jump on me. Just don't.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, that was something that blew my mind of, and even that was a trigger for me when I don't even know whose dog or what the scenario was. I think it was, a zealous dog was jumping and you were around and you were like, just put your knee like a little bit forward. So if they jump, your kneecap is going to be like the first thing there as they're jumping into you, and that's not going to feel good. And they're going to
just mainly step forward into them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we'll go back to the bar. If you're in that bar and a guy is just like coming on you and coming in your space, if you just step into him and say, back up, he's gone. But if you kind of cower into the bar, off camera, do you know what I mean? He's going to keep invading your space, because when you step into him, you mean it. Get away. Back up.
Madeline, are you taking notes on this over there?
But when you back up into that corner, it's just an open invitation.
Yeah. And you're becoming submissive. Your body language is like, go ahead, keep like towering.
Right. And they will. And then they'll come in droves. It's like they smell you out and they're like, there she is, right?
Yeah. But so with a dog, as simple as stepping in, and making that, it's like, oh, wait, like this, this isn't an appropriate, what's that communicating to the dog?
But you think about it, if I walk into you, if I meet you on the street and I walk into you and I'm coming at you with a certain energy, are you going to be like, I'm not moving? You're going to be like, awkward. And you're just going to go around because I'm projecting such an energy on you that makes you uncomfortable.
So what about if, because I wonder about this, if someone's got a dog that they think it's really cute when they're jumping and attacking you at high energy, and you come into their home, and let's say it's right before a wedding, and you may or may not have a very nice dress on or outfit on, and that pup's been outside, and you do not want it to jump on you, like those are the real life circumstances. We're like, oh, it's so cute, and then, then we like, open a can of whoop ass or something on our dog, because the one time you're going out for a date, your dog gets mud on you, right? Then it matters, and the dog doesn't know any different, because all the other times you think it's okay and you say, yeah, jump on me, I love it.
That goes back to, you can't correct on Monday and then not Tuesday and Wednesday.
Or date night Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
No, if you don't like it, don't allow it.
So with the jumping and going into someone else's home, what if, if you are like, because I'm like, all right, I don't tolerate dogs jumping on me, doing all this stuff. And yet, what about when you walk into somebody else's home and they've got that high energy dog and they think it's cute and you don't? How do you handle that?
Well, I don't really acknowledge the dog.
Yeah.
And I'll go in with such a forceful energy that, the people don't even want to hug me. You know what I mean?
But what if you want to hug the people and then you just don't want to be harassed by the dog? You're saying to not have that energy.
So I guess because I've been doing it for so long, like for me, if I were to walk in your house and Chris, was jumping all over me, I would be like, I would just sit here and I would kind of stare you down.
Yeah.
And then once he's, would behave himself.
It's really intimidating. Yeah.
I would. I would be like, well, Shelby, it's so good to see you. And then I would proceed,
Whoa.
But like
mind tricks. Yeah.
Right. So like for me, there's a certain amount of self-control that you have to have. So I never even looked at him.
Yeah.
But he could feel it anyway.
I love that we're using Chris as the illustration. But like, so a dog, because a dog's gonna look for the moment he gets that green light to jump and to engage. And so if you're like physically positioning your body of like, I'm not really interested in engaging with you.
Watch two dogs at the dog park, and they're like, you'll hear somebody, oh, he really just wants to play with her, and I'm like, I can tell you right now, that old bitch right there is fixing to eat his face off because she does not want to play with him. You just watch, because she's ducking. She's moving. Yeah. She's looking away, and he's like trying to lick her in the ear and lick her. And she's like, and I was like, man, she is warning him. It's going to be a time bomb. She is fixing to bite him, and then the next thing you know, bah, 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 bah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
back off.
I don't think she want to play with him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but she's telling him.
Right.
Well, the next time he goes up to her to play, and she looks at him, he's going to back away. He's just going to go away.
Because he's going to remember right before she made eye contact, right after that, he got snapped at.
A dog will never give any more correction on another dog than is needed.
Wow. I mean, yeah.
There's a lot of truth.
I mean, that's what we can learn so much from dogs. Because you're saying, it's like, all right, round one, pup, young dog, zealous, whatever, fucking with this other dog, and she's like, don't fuck with me. I'm not into it. I'm not fucking into it. Thank you. All right. So, anyways, but then if he comes around again, do you think that dog is that? And bitch is a female dog. This is a common term in the dog world. Really so if that bitch is like, I just like it to say bitch. So if that bitch, I can't not say it in a normal accent. So if what happens if that dog, let's say I'm just visualizing a younger dog, comes back, didn't get the hint the first time, what is she gonna do?
Well, dogs have a conversation. She's gonna look at him, and that's part one. And then if he keeps on and on and on, then it goes to, like a little snarl, and then she comes in with a bite. Is she going to bite him in the nose? Probably, yeah. Is she going to kill him? No.
Yeah.
Now, some dogs that have extreme amounts of aggression, well, they shouldn't be there.
Right. Yeah, in a social situation. And because they don't have the balance of the socialization of, all right, phase one of being like, fuck off is like, hey, a little bit of like, hey, fuck off. And then the other one is going to be like, the next level is like, hey, a shove being like, don't, no.
Right.
And then the next one's going to be like, bam, uppercut. And then the next one's going to be like daggers. No, oh my God. Going to get morbid real fast.
Brass knuckles.
Yeah. But I love that we don't, like, I've never recognized to look for that in dogs until being around your world. Of observing, these are not just dumb little animals that are just like living stuffed animals.
Right.
They have a hierarchy and there's structure there.
Dogs don't just jump on another dog out of the clear blue, even though people will think that that's what happened. Yeah. There's a conversation that's been had between those two dogs long before that ever escalated into that. You just misread the signs. And it's just, that's what, one of the things about dogs is I feel like you just become so much more keen on your surroundings and the body language of people and just everything. Like I can't even put it all into words.
Well, and it also helps you have like a criminal background, criminal justice background of knowing all of this like really jacked up statistics and facts about what to look for. Oh my God. It's never a dull moment with you.
No, it's not. That'd be boring.
I really want to talk with you about all these things all day, but we have to pivot and bring things down to a close. Shannon, how can people get in touch with you, follow along if they have a problematic dog, or if they have a great dog that they want to be an awesome member of their family, or if they're like, well, shit, actually, all the dogs I've ever had, I've never had consistent results with them. And maybe they want to fine tune their own dog, dog teaching game and work on themselves, or have a shrink session with you and figure out what kind of shit they're enabling in their life. How can people get in touch with you?
It's pretty easy. Palmetto Gun Dogs.
Okay.
PalmettoGundogs. We're on Facebook. Somebody heisted our website and
super sucks.
Yeah, it really does.
Okay, so Facebook, Palmetto Gun Dogs.
Instagram,
at Palmetto Gun Dogs, one word. Any spaces?
No.
Okay, so at Palmetto Gun Dogs.
We're pretty easy.
There's a lot of cute dogs on there. Highly recommend following that one.
It is a lot of cute dogs.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Well, Shannon, this has been amazing, and thank you for the many kicks in the pants that you've given me in my own life. And this has been amazing. And for our viewers and our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. If this was interesting, if you have more questions, if you're like, wait, like, I do these things in my life, and if you have any other questions, comments, concerns you want to fling past Shannon, leave them in the comments with this episode, and be sure to like, subscribe if you want more dog training videos or human training videos after this. Let us know, and I hope that you have an amazing day filled with passion, and I hope that you make some stories worth telling. Bye.
Bye. I'm going to give you a hug.